In this video, I wanted to discuss a little bit about emotionally cold people. Now, if you are one, then this video is going to help you understand yourself better. It will give you an idea of what's happening inside you. It's going to help you self-introspect, self-reflect, and have a better understanding of your behavior. If you know someone who's emotionally cold, then this video will help you look at them from a more compassionate and empathetic perspective. So let's get into it. Before we start, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to join any of my monthly group coaching sessions, click the link in description. Firstly, there are some signs you can notice in an emotionally cold person. One, they don't open up much. They don't talk about their vulnerable parts. They try to keep the conversation very much on the surface level. So because of this, all the relationships that they have around them will also be on a very surface level. Now, if you are someone who's dealing with someone emotionally cold, even if you try to form something of a meaningful connection with them or an in-depth connection with them, it becomes really difficult and draining for you because this person is fully closed and you simply cannot get them to open up. And the reason they don't open up is because they simply don't trust people. They believe that people are out there to get them in some way. It is coming from a wound, of course, and it is sort of a victim mentality that they think that people are out there to somehow make them feel something. And they're always on guard. They're always like, is someone trying to harm me? Is someone trying to hurt me? And because they're always on guard, they don't trust people. They don't trust people so easily. Another sign is they have this wall around them because they don't trust people, psychologically speaking, a wall around them, and they're always inside the wall. They don't allow anyone from the outside to get inside. And because of this, they will feel lonely, they will feel empty, but the thought of being close to someone and getting hurt is so powerful that they continue to stay inside that wall. And another sign is they consider emotions as weakness. They believe that showing emotions will make them look like a weak person to whoever is in front of them. And they also believe that if they showcase some emotions, then the person on the opposite will start to take control of them. They believe that they lose their autonomy if they show emotions. So they completely hide and suppress their emotions altogether. Now, because they hide and suppress these emotions, you will find them not reacting to anything at all. Like, their reaction to pretty much everything is very neutralized, like very stable. They won't fight, they won't get angry also, but at the same time, they can't really feel happy also. It's kind of like they have a very base level emotionless state, and you will not find them being overly enthusiastic also, but not overly sad also. So they'll have like this standard level of feeling emotions. In fact, they don't feel any emotions. That's one of the reasons why you will not see them reacting at all. And sometimes what happens is when their autonomy or this wall is threatened, if someone is trying to get too close to them, someone is trying to make them be vulnerable or make them feel something, and that means someone is trying to push through that wall. So during those times, for them it won't look like someone is trying to love them. For them it would only look like someone is trying to take their control away from them, their autonomy away from them. So when they feel threatened, they will either run away or they will try to hurt you back, or they will try to be really rude to you. It's not an act of being rude, but they're trying to just protect themselves so fiercely that they only know two options, either to run away or to fight back really hard. And another sign you can notice is emotionally cold people are really inconsistent. Like, their behavior is very hot and cold. They get closer to you, and that closeness is the same thing that kind of threatens them. So the moment they feel that pressure or fear, they take a step back. So if they take one step forward, they'll take 4 steps backward. And for someone dealing with them, if you are dealing with them, you would feel like this person is nice one day and like very distant the other day. So do they really love me, or do they really like me? Are they even friends with me? So you'd start having all these doubts. So their behavior will be very inconsistent. And it's not that they don't want to be close to you. They crave that closeness. That's why they come to you in the first place. But then the same closeness threatens them. They take a step back. Of course, it's a very unstable and selfish thing to do. But that selfishness is also coming from a place of wanting to protect themselves, not to hurt you, to protect themselves. So these are some of the signs of emotionally cold people. Now, there are a few pointers I would like to talk about to understand yourself better, so that if you are a cold person, you can slowly start improving these aspects of you. Number one, emotionally cold people do have feelings, but it's just that they're so afraid to feel them. They're so scared to let that emotion pass through them. So the only difference between an emotionally stable and healthy person and an emotionally cold person is that a stable and healthy person will let all emotions pass through them. That's it. They're not afraid of feeling any emotion. But an emotionally cold person is really scared. They think that if they let all these emotions pass through them, it will somehow destroy them. It will somehow take some of their power away from them. And because they're afraid, they don't let any emotion pass through them. Now, this is a habit that they could have developed at one point in their life, maybe in their childhood, or maybe it could in their adolescence or early 20s, could be at any point in time. But there would have been a situation where they had to suppress their feelings in order to survive. If you come from a place where you never really had anyone to tend to your emotions, like when you were a kid or a teenager, and you had all these emotions going through you, but there was no one to kind of be there for you and be emotionally available for you at that time, because all of us need someone to be there when we are feeling a lot of emotions. If these people never had that in their life, what they learn to do is, during that time when you don't have anyone to tend to you, these emotions you're feeling becomes uncontrollable. They just take over, and when you don't really know how to regulate them, you don't know sort of what to do, so you start suppressing them. You believe that at this point having all these emotions is not going to help me survive, so I need to suppress them. I need to put up this armor. I need to be strong, and I need to just get to my life. Now, of course, it helped you at one point, all of these. It's not like you just developed it out of nowhere. It was useful at one point. But now, probably it's not useful and it's outdated, it's expired. But because you're still having that same coping mechanism, that same suppressing that you have, it's stopping you from building meaningful connections with people. So when you're trying to control those emotions, what you're really doing here is you're suppressing them. Emotions that you feel, like I said, you do feel them, but you just don't let them pass through you. So because it's not passing through you, you suppress it and it stays inside you. It needs an outlet. Emotions need an outlet. They need to be released. But in the form of suppressing, in the form of controlling, you're keeping them inside you. And the more they stay inside you, the more you feel stressful. It really increases your stress, it increases your anxiety, and it also increases this panic that you feel that people are going to hurt you, and it keeps building up inside that. Sometimes it also turns into some sort of physical disturbances as well. Now, what you need to do is you need to let these emotions pass through you. And when certain emotions pass through you, it is going to be uncomfortable, but that's just how it is. It's just going to be there for a second and it's going to pass. It's going to pass in a while. You might feel it very often, but it's going to pass. And when it passes, it does something to you. It changes you, transforms you, it teaches you a lesson, and then it goes. The more you learn how to let the emotion pass through you, the more you will be able to regulate those emotions. If you continue to stay afraid of those emotions, then that emotion is fully in control of you. You think that by controlling these emotions, by suppressing them and having this wall, you are holding the control. No, it's these emotions that have a lot of control over you. That's why even if you want to build a good relationship with someone, you're not able to. Even if you want to control your mouth at certain places, you're not able to. You hurt the other person. Even if you want to be really close to someone, you're not able to. You're not able to be vulnerable because these emotions that you're afraid of is controlling you. That autonomy that you're afraid of losing, you've already lost it to these emotions. It's really important to understand that the more you let the emotions pass through you, the more open you are to feeling all your emotions, the more in control you become. Number two, you might have some core beliefs that emotions means loss of control. You think if someone is making you feel something, that means you are losing your control. But no one can make you feel anything. If you're feeling something, it means it's coming from inside you. The outside is just a trigger, it's just a cue. When that happens, something inside you turns on. So, if at all you come across situations where people's behavior is making you feel a certain way, It's not the people that you're supposed to fight against. You need to introspect why I'm feeling this way. So, feeling those emotions is not lack of control. Feeling emotions is a sign that something inside you needs attention. And you might have another core belief that dependence means risk. Because at one point, you were dependent on someone. It could be your mom, dad, anyone. You were dependent on them. You wanted them to be there for you, but they weren't there. They were absent. And you feeling all these emotions and no one was there. It was a really tough situation for you. So now you think that if you depend on someone, it will put you in a risky situation. But that's not the case. The person that you're going to depend on today might be available for you. They might really there intend to your emotions. And due to this, what you do is you don't rely on anyone for anything emotionally, and you don't let anyone rely on you too. Now, what happens is you become a emotionally unreliable person. Now, these beliefs are what is stopping you from forming better relationships with people. Because when you're in a relationship, you need to be reliable. You need to rely on them for something, and they need to rely on you. And it's when you rely on each other and then you sort of tend to each other, you're being there for each other. That's when you build trust, that you know, if I want something, if I need anything, this person is going to be there for me. But when you believe that dependence means risk, that you will get hurt, then you will stay in your safe, that guarded inside the wall, and you can't really form meaningful connections. Number three, having a limiting identity. Now, you might have some limiting beliefs about your identity, like I handle things on my own, I always do things by myself, I'm sufficient on my own. Now, these beliefs were formed, of course, at one point in your life, and it served you at that point. You had to be self sufficient at one point in order to survive. But right now, these beliefs you have about yourself is not serving you anymore. Because right now, maybe you're not supposed to be self sufficient. A partner, you have kids. So, you can be self sufficient, of course, but you also have to tend to other people. So, you can't expect them to be self sufficient. So, these beliefs you have will contradict with the type of life you're trying to build. So, anytime the kind of life you want to build is challenging a limiting identity, this limiting belief you have, instead of running away from it, you need to accept that challenge. Okay, the only time your beliefs will be a problem is when it is stopping you from having a life you want. Because, see, there could be this belief that you have that I do things on my own, I don't need anyone, I'm sufficient on my own. These beliefs weren't a problem at one point. So far, you could be 20, 25, 30, 35, whatever. For so many years, they weren't a problem. They were good. It really helped you, right? But right now, you're trying to build a life. It could be a marriage life. It could be life with your kids. It could be about building a better relationship with your parents or dating. Now you're trying to have a different life. You're trying to have a different goal. And in order to achieve that goal, you're not able to take that steps, or you're taking the steps and it's really in a very chaotic phase because of these limiting beliefs. So anytime you want something, but your beliefs are stopping you, you need to take that as a challenge and change your beliefs. Number four, you have this habit of pushing people away, not because you don't care, but because you do care and you want that closeness, but that same closeness is triggering you. It's exhausting, suffocating, so you take a step back. So there's always this one step forward, few steps backward kind of dynamic you have with someone. And let me tell you something, that's not okay. That's an extremely selfish thing to do. Because by doing that, you're not really considering the other person's feelings. You're so involved and so caught up in your own feelings that you're not really considering the other person's feelings. Imagine how the other person who's in the receiving end of this behavior would feel. One day you talk to them and it's good and you're like nice and you're giving them all these promises, and then the next day you're so distant. That creates a very stressful dynamic for the other person as well. So if you notice that this is what you've been doing, there are two things you can do. Try to change that behavior, try to be close to them, try to kind of slowly take one step forward. Maybe you can communicate that to them and then slowly move forward, or wait until you feel comfortable. Now, you can't do a lot of work alone, because alone you can only do a certain amount of work. There's certain things that you can understand about yourself, but in a relationship, all of these problems would come out. So if you're in a relationship, maybe talk to the person and slowly tell them that you will take actions to change this behavior. And number 5, externally you might look emotionally stable, but your inner life is poor. Internally, you are disconnected from yourself. And that is because you're not allowing all of these emotions to pass through you. You're suppressing them, due to which you're not feeling any emotions. And when you don't feel any emotions, you're not really connected with your body. When you put a gate to your emotions, you're not just stopping yourself from feeling all the tough ones like sadness and pain and hurt. You're also stopping yourself from feeling all the good ones as well. That's just how it works. When you close the gate, you close the gate on all the good things also. So you don't feel sad. Yes, you don't feel good either. You can't feel both of them. You become emotionally really numb. And when you're emotionally numb, nothing from the outside or the inside brings you joy. You become like a very deadly walking creature with no emotions, which is a really sad place to be in. You will feel empty, you will feel hollow on the inside, and there's always this kind of lingering darkness that you'll feel. And you put a word on it, you couldn't really place what it is. This could be one of the reasons. When you have an emotionally rich life, you feel everything. You feel sadness also, pain also, you feel happiness also. In fact, the more you feel pain, the more you're open to feel pain, the more intensely you can feel pleasure. So you will just feel all range of emotions in a deeper sense. Your emotional life will be really rich. That's what we call a rich inner life, a rich emotional life. It's not just having a lot of joy and happiness, it's also equally feeling the other end of the spectrum. Now, what can you do? Where can you start to change this? There are a few things that you can start with. Of course, changing this is not going to happen overnight, and all the little things that you need to do in your relationship or in your life is something really subjective to you. But there are certain basic things that you can get started with. One is connect with your body. That is the most important step. Connect with your body. Okay. And one of the things that you can do to connect with your body is sit alone and just try to do a body scan. Okay, internally, just sit and scan your body. Put your focus on your legs and thighs and knees and hips and abdomen, chest, neck, head. Completely do a body scan. Just sit down, close your eyes, and just observe your body. Okay, and just slowly ask yourself each and every part of your body how it feels. How do you feel right now? What do you want? And your body will give you an answer. And sometimes, if you're not getting the practice initially, it's still fine. Try to do it some more times, because the goal is not to get an answer. The goal is to connect with your body. So if you're listening, that means you're doing the step right. If you don't get an answer from your body, it's still fine. Number 2 is controlled vulnerability. Okay, you need to start being vulnerable with people, but you don't have to just go in like an open dam. You can go little by little. You can talk to safe people. You can start slowly sharing little things about yourself that you're afraid to share. And if at all you share something and you get disappointed because of the other person's comment, or you share something and they use it against you, it's fine. There is something to learn. That is also going to teach you a lesson on how to be resilient, how to deal with it when someone is trying to use your vulnerability against you. Because if someone could use something against you, that still means you have work to do. For example, let's say if I'm telling you that it's really hard for me to sit in front of camera and talk. Okay, now there I'm telling a little bit of my fear or my trouble with you. Now, if you are able to use it against me, like you tell me that my video is not that great, and if that bothers me, it means I have not accepted this part of me. It means that I've still not accepted the fact that it's difficult for me to sit in front of a camera and talk. I need a lot more practice, and I still have not made peace with that's what it means if something that you say triggers me. So there are lessons to learn. People really can't get to you, or people really can't hurt you unless there's already something inside that's kind of boiling. So you need to understand that. So when you understand that, being vulnerable becomes easy. Like no one can use anything against you when you have already accepted that for yourself. If you say that my videos suck and I kind of blabber every now and then, or I just say something stupid sometimes, I know that and I accept it. I've already accepted that part of me. That's one of the reasons why I'm able to do videos regularly, because if I didn't accept it, then I can't really sit and make videos. Right? I would get triggered every time I see a camera and then there's a comment and then that triggers me. So understand that no one can use anything against you. You can try to be vulnerable. You can go at your pace. You can be vulnerable little by little with all these close people that you have, and then how to be sort of vulnerable maybe at your workplace, or if you're a founder or a business person, how to be vulnerable at certain situations at your company or with your employees. So have that controlled vulnerability, take it at your own pace. And number 3 is rewiring your beliefs. Now, all these beliefs that I told you, I talked about, that you don't need anyone, you're sufficient on your own, emotions means loss of control, dependence means risks. These are the beliefs. Now, in order to rewire these beliefs, of course, you can do affirmations. Of course, you can sit and write those affirmations as journal. But the best way to do them is when you get triggered. When a situation triggers you and immediately your entire body is worked up and you get this urge to either run away or fight back, that is the moment you need to calm yourself and tell yourself that this is not an unsafe environment. I am not under threat. This person is not trying to hurt me. They're only trying to communicate, and I don't need to panic. So you really need to do that during the point when you get triggered. Let me tell you, it's highly effective. It's almost like, think of it like one time if you calm yourself when you get triggered, it's equal to, let's say, 3 months or 4 months or 6 months of affirmations. That's what I would say. Okay, because no matter how many affirmations you do, when the situation happens, if you're not able to control yourself or control those thoughts or those panic, there's no use. This is how you practically apply and change your beliefs. So practically, whenever you feel triggered, calm yourself. Calming yourself and telling your body that this is a safe environment, that is the only thing that is going to do the trick for you. Because I've been using it in my own life for the last so many months, ever since I realized that I had so many things that have been triggering me. And I've been using that. In fact, I've been using it for one of my physical issues as well, because there is a certain situation that triggers physical sensations in my body. I've been rewiring that, and I've been doing it on the moment, practically applying that, and it's highly effective. It only takes a few repetition for you to finally get to that state where you don't feel triggered anymore. Now, finally, I would also like to remind you that your emotional coldness might be a big problem to you when it comes to relationships, when it comes to intimate relationships, with your parents or with your partner, or with your friendships. And let me tell you something, human relationships are difficult, irrespective of this. It's not just because you're emotionally cold, it's difficult. Even if you're emotionally stable, there are going to be situations where things get really tough. And because when people come together, 3 people, 4 people, a family, there's going to be a lot of opinions, their own feelings, their own thoughts, and it is going to be difficult. So relationships are not going to be that easy. Relationships do hurt. You will feel pain. You will feel disappointed at times. There will be anger, there will be sadness, there will be a lot of crying, but at the same time, on the other end, there'll be a lot of happiness too. So relationships will have a spectrum of these emotions. If you think relationships are meant to be happy all the time and just laughter and fun and there shouldn't be any problems, then you're not really going to be able to make it at having good relationships with people. So just make peace with the fact that relationships are going to be hard. And generally your relationships are hard. So when you're emotionally cold or emotionally unstable or emotionally unavailable or emotionally anxious, that's going to add to the problem. So our goal is to work on ourselves so that we only deal with the problem at hand. Like whatever life throws at you, you deal with it, that's fine. But our internal world should not be a problem in our external world. If the problem is coming from the outside, we can deal with it. But if the problem is coming from the inside, you are adding more fuel to what's already going wrong. That's where we need to do some work. So let that be a gentle reminder. And lastly, if you are someone who's dealing with an emotionally cold person, let me tell you this one thing. Don't take their actions personally. They're not doing things to hurt you. They're not behaving hot and cold to hurt you. It's not because they want to treat you badly. They're not being rude to you on purpose. They're just trying to protect themselves. And in the act of protecting themselves, they sometimes act so out of control and fiercely, right? Does that mean you have to put up with it? No. You can choose to be kind with them, of course, if you want to. All these things that you just heard will help you build a little bit more compassion towards them. It will help you not take it personally, because if you take it personally, you'll think it's about you. It's because you are not worthy and you are this and that, that's why they are treating you that way. That's not the case. People always act for who they are. So if you have someone like this in your life, they're already struggling with the problems. Now, do you want to put up with it or not? It's up to you, but it has nothing to do with you. You don't have to take it personally. It's not about you. And with that, I'm at the end of the video. I hope that was helpful. If you have any queries, leave it in the comments. And if you would like me to talk about any particular topic, leave that in the comments too. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.